Hey y'all, I hope you all have had an amazing couple of weeks. It's been a little bit since I posted my last video. I meant to post a video on Sunday, but I got really sick last week and had pneumonia and was hacking up a lung. I was hacking up my lungs. I was hacking up everybody else's lungs. It was just not a pretty sight. So kind of decided to put it off, and so now I'm feeling a whole lot better. I don't know if you can tell it. I'm still sounding a little crusty, but I'm feeling better, so back into the swing of things. What I'm going to be posting tonight and probably throughout the rest of the week are segments about who I am as a reader. So you're going to have a chance to get to know me by some of the books that I read. I hope you all have had a fantastic week. I've missed hearing from everyone this week, and I will get back with you all in a little bit. Future me will speak. So it's crazy night lighting out in the car. Anyway, I wanted to answer the first question that I have posed in this video. What is your favorite story of all time? For me, that would be Frank Delaney's Ireland. If you know me, you know I'm a sucker for a good story. So I really don't know what could be any better than a story about the Irish tradition of storytelling. And in this story, a young man named Ronan meets an itinerant storyteller who mysteriously disappears after 3 days. And this man has had such an effect on Ronan's life that Ronan devotes his entire life to finding this man. And this journey for Ronan is cathartic. It changes his life. And it changed my life too, quite honestly. I enjoyed this book so entirely much that it has stuck with me for, I guess the book came out in 2008, so 15 years. If you enjoy historical fiction at all, I would highly recommend Ireland to you. Favorite series? Easy. Harry Potter. I feel like I've grown up with Harry Potter, even though the books all came out when I was adult. They came out when I was in my 20s. So to be quite honest, I did a lot of growing up in my 20s, and have really enjoyed watching Ron, Hermione, and Harry get into all the issues that they've gotten into. I feel like the story is really less about magic and more about friendship, about facing adversity and learning some life lessons the hard way. We all know that the three kids went through so much as they spent their time at Hogwarts. And they came out at the end, I think, great people because they had to go through so many of the trials and tribulations that they did. So I really thought that the stories were well told. And you can realize that life is not always going to be easy, but it's always so much easier when you have good friends who are there to prop you up and work with you, and you're going to have your hard times and good times. But like I said, I think it's more a story of friendship and courage than it is magic. And he's still lazy. Thank God he's cute. I've only read a couple of stories that have made me ugly cry. The first one was Ireland, and I've already discussed that book under another question. So I'm going to discuss the other one here, and that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And in this story, a little girl named Liesel is being followed around by death, and he's really kind of intrigued with her because she just has so much courage in the face of adversity. This story is set in Germany, and Germany is being bombed by Britain. So it's sort of different in the sense that most of the World War II historical fiction books that I've read have been set in one of the Allied countries who is being attacked by Germany. So this is sort of the other way around. And I really appreciated the switch in scenery. It really changed things up for me. But to follow Liesel around and to get to know this little girl who went through so much in her life. She had watched her little brother die. Her father had left the family, and her mother had to give her up. And she's being raised, I think, by her grandparents. And she steals books, which I can kind of relate to because she loved reading so much that was one of the ways that I think she coped with everything that was going on around her. But to come to the end of the story, and I'm not going to give anything away if you haven't read it, but her courage, and it doesn't even, I think, end in the way that you would think that it does. But like I said, I'm not going to give that away. But her courage throughout her entire lifetime, no matter how short or long that was something that really touched me. And I actually could not pick up another book for a couple of days after I read that, just like with Ireland. I had to take some time to process what I had just read. And ugly tears were a part of that process. The last book I read is The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. I just finished reading this book day before yesterday, read it in one day, gave it 5 stars. It's a middle grade mystery about 3 friends, Emmy, Lola, and Jack. There are a lot of similarities to the Harry Potter series, but it's different in its own right. It's not quite as detailed and sweeping as Harry Potter is, and there's no magic in this book. However, what there is a lot of mystery. There's a secret society. Emmy has no idea who her father is, where he is, whether he's alive or dead. Kind of has a lot of issues that go along with all the questions that she has about the identity and status of her father. And she goes to this boarding school and makes friends with Lola and Jack, and they get into a whole lot of adventures in the process of trying to figure out, number one, who Emmy's father is and where he is and what's going on with him, but also about this secret society that has taken place or that is located on their school's campus and who's involved with that and what exactly is going on. I love, like I said, themes of courage, of friendship in the face of adversity, and it was just a nice, quick read. So that's the last book I read. If I could be any fictional character, who would it be? Marionette Brandybuck. His cousin is Pippin, and the two of them are crazy. Oh, he's from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And he's a hobbit, so he gets first breakfast, second breakfast, 11s, lunch, afternoon tea, supper, and dinner. It's right up my alley. He gets to hang out with Treebeard, which would be such an amazing experience. He enlists to serve under King Theoden of Rohan. I am struggling today to think of words. But who's one of my favorite characters as well. And so he has that experience. Plus he gets to be part of the fellowship with some of his friends. And he, I think, doesn't know what he's getting into quite at first, but he turns out to be a pretty valuable person in the Fellowship of the Ring. And I think it would just be plain fun to be him. So a book that I'm really looking forward to reading is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. I read a while back The 13th Tale, which is a gothic tale that she wrote a while back. And it is another book that kind of gripped me for a very long time. Another book that I had to take a couple of days afterwards to process what I've read. And I couldn't pick up another book during that time because I just couldn't concentrate because I was thinking so much about the last book. So I'm really intrigued to read this book. The basic premise is that there is a inn that's on the River Thames in England, and a person who is injured busts into the inn holding a girl who is dead. And a few days later, this girl starts to breathe again and comes back to life. And there are so many questions, of course, surrounding this situation because in what world does that happen? So there are so many people who want to know who this girl is, where does she come from, how did she come back to life. It's just a very interesting and intriguing story to me. So I'm really anxious to read this book and see what happens. I've seen some reviews that have said that this book is quite a story, which I've already told you all several times in this video that I love a good story. It's very atmospheric, apparently, and I'm anxious to see what this book holds. I can't wait to come back in whatever month I read this book and review it and let you all know what I think about it. So this is the book that I'm probably most looking forward to reading right now. I hope you've enjoyed my video tonight. I'm going to put out another video later this week since I had to take last week off. But I think it's fun to get to know people. So if you have any questions, anything that you'd like to know about me, be sure to leave those down in the comments and I'd be glad to address those. Have a great week.